Hello everyone, welcome back to Unblock Sauce, reporting live from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Today we're doing a follow-up video regarding the upgrades that are recently made here to the Slash. If any of you recall from the previous videos, I pretty much went ahead and added the ESC brushless motor, pinion gear, and also spur gear, along with a little bit of suspension pieces and yeah, a couple of few things. So with that being said, I would like to start out with the front end suspension. Pretty much, if you guys can see, my front end is pretty lifted from tire to fender wall and then fender wall to tire. There's a really big gap here. Why? Because of the new shocks that I went ahead and added. They're not as low as the stock shocks, so it's making a really big difference in the way it sits up high in the front. If you can see, it goes really high from what it is in the back. It just goes really squatted in the back to pretty much really high in the front. And I did notice, and I did feel, and I did see a big difference in the way it was just riding, the way it was handling. It wasn't able to turn as quick as it once was before with the stock shocks. It seems like it just kept flipping over too much, and it just didn't have any stability whatsoever. So what I will be doing for sure is going ahead and removing the shocks that I have now. They do look really cool. Well, they look cool to me because they're the same color as the suspension. They also have like a black spring, but they're just too stiff. There's no adjustments. And like I said before, I do notice a big difference in the way it handles. It's just not cool. So I'm going to go back to the stock option. That way, once I add the stock shocks, it will just go back down to its normal height and it would be even. Because if I can be honest, before I went ahead and added these shocks here, it was handling way better. It was turning way faster, and it was not flipping over as easy as it was a few days ago when I went ahead and took it out there for a test run. But with that being said, other than that, yeah, that's what I would need to do with the suspension. So let me go ahead and remove this. Now, we're going to go ahead and go into the ESC. Pretty much, guys, what I went ahead and did is I upgraded my ESC from what I had before. It now houses a quick run 120 amp ESC. It's really, really good. If I could be quite honest, I really do like what I have, and I'm not disappointed whatsoever in what I installed into this Slash. For the price of what I paid for this ESC here, I'm not disappointed whatsoever. It works really well. As you can see, just the materials, the way it feels, though everything about it is just way better from all the other ESCs that I had before. Obviously because of the price, and obviously because of the manufacturer. So yes, like these wires here, guys, did not come with the ESC. I had to go ahead myself and I had to purchase the bullet connectors, and I've added some 10 gauge wire, automotive wire, because it's a lot softer, it's more flexible, and it's really good. Obviously, it handles the heat pretty well. So I pretty much made the soldering from the point A all the way to point B on the bullet connectors, which was not hard at all. I used a little mini torch with some solder wire, and it was really quick and really easy. So I highly recommend it. Also, we're going to go ahead and go back to the back end here. As you can see, I'm running a Surpass motor. It will be a 3660 4200 kV motor with the Surpass Hobby heatsink and also a fan. As you can see here, I have a secondary fan that I went ahead and added to the side of the motor. And if I can say so now, it makes a big difference in the way it is with the temperature. I do have a temperature gun, so I did it before and after. And yes, it makes a big difference in the way it runs. And it's not as hot, it's a lot cooler. Because before I did have a couple times where I guess it got too hot, either the ESC or the motor, whichever one it was first or however it was. And it did cut off, and I would have to wait a few minutes for it to actually start working again. So I figured I solved that problem by just adding a couple fans. The heatsink was really cheap. It was like 35 pesos. And the second fan was about 25 pesos. I would have went ahead and bought another heatsink, but I really don't need it, so I just bought the fan, so no big deal. And towards the rear end, as you guys can see, well, let me start off here. Here, even, straight, easy, everything good. We go to the right-hand side. As you can see, there's I don't know what you guys would like to call it, a rod or whatever it is, it's bent. What happened there, guys, pretty much I was headed straight forward. I almost hit a curve, so at the last second I veered to the left. Sharp turn to the left, if I could say so. And I was able to just do that just in time where I was able to miss the curve, and I hit the curve with the rear tire, and this is what happened. No big deal whatsoever. I'll go ahead and take that off and just kind of tap it, give it a couple love taps with the hammer, or maybe just kind of press it down, whichever comes first, and just see where it goes from there. Worst comes to worst, I'll just have to order another set. They're like about what, I think 100 pesos for a set of 8. They're not they're not pricey at all whatsoever. Of course, from AliExpress. I wish AliExpress would reach out and just kind of sponsor me. I talk about them all the time. I buy all the products for the RC, and I mean, wow. But kidding. But if they want to help out, you're more than welcome to reach out. So with that being said, guys, back in the rear end here, this is pretty much where a lot of things also changed. I went ahead and changed the spur gear. It's now running a metallic spur, 76 tooth, with a 33 tooth pinion gear. And let me tell you now, what a big difference from night and day. I mean, it's gotten so fast that I can't even pass I can't pass quarter throttle. Why? Because this thing would just lose control. I've tried to get it to, well, I can't even get it out of quarter throttle. Why? Because it's just, when I do try to go further than quarter trigger, the rear end tires, they just start to get really inflated and they lose control, and it makes the slashes go in kind of circles, and eventually it flips over because it's got too much, well, I want to say torque, speed, whatever you want to say. But I will tell you guys now, what a major difference from what it was. Previously, I had I think it was a 23 tooth pinion gear with the 86 tooth spur plastic. Obviously, it was the one that came with the slash in the box for the supposedly for the higher speed setup. And I'll say this: before I went and had it, what I had now, it was okay. It was fun with a 3S lipo. It was fairly decent in speed. I'm not going to say it was sonic speed, but it was decent. But now that I went ahead and added the setup that I have now, 33 tooth pinion gear with a 76 tooth spur. Wow. Major difference. I can't seem to get it from quarter throttle, but I'm looking very forward to going to at least half, and obviously, of course, full throttle. But from what I'm seeing now, guys, I'm thinking maybe 55 miles an hour. I'm not even sure. Eventually, I'm going to get one of those little GPS boxes, whatever they are, to kind of register the speed. I'm not putting my cell phone in here. Why? Because if it does flip over, it's not going to be a good sight, and it's going to damage either the slash and or my phone, and it's not cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and wait for that. But if I can be honest, I do have a short video of me running the slash with the new setup. It's not much. I'll go ahead and upload that and see what you guys think. But totally honest, this thing is a big difference of night and day with the setup I have now. I'm very satisfied with the ESC itself, the brushless motor setup itself, and of course also the pinion gear setup that I have here. And yes, very soon I will go ahead and find a open area with a lot of pavement or a big parking lot so I can go ahead and do a test run. So keep an eye out for that video. Unfortunately, I will have to remove these shocks here. I really do like them. Why? Because if you can notice, they have a really cool black spring. They're nice and blue color. They look really good. But just the way they function and the way they work, it's not up for me. They're just too stiff and they're way too high. So I'm going to go eventually back to the stocks and bring it back down to the lower setting. I've already went ahead and tried to set the lowest setting I could here and try to figure out a way how I can set the shock to make it lower, but it's a no-go. So pretty much what I will be doing is just going back to stock. Because if I can be honest, guys, when I was running stock suspension with the shocks, it was a lot lower in the front, and I was having no issues whatsoever with me, not losing control and not flipping over as much as I was on Saturday. Saturday just kept flipping over, and it got to the point where I was like, dude, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and wait and change the suspension. I'll do a separate video somewhere else. In the meantime, I'm just go ahead and enjoy the RCs that everyone else has brought into the event. So with that being said, guys, I'll be more than likely posting a couple of videos of the footage my friends went ahead and shared with me of what it is we did on Saturday. There was a couple of drones out there. From what I remember, there was a couple E-Revos, E-Maxes, There was a few crawlers, there was a few this and that, so it was really fun. Everything was good. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and keep you guys updated, and I'll do as many videos as I could, and that way we'll see how this thing turns out. But other than that, this is going on now. If any of you guys have any suggestions, would like to see any type of footage, any video, have any questions, if I can help, I'll be more than happy to do so. But until then, everyone stay safe, have fun, enjoy the day, and thank you for stopping by and checking out the video. Take care, everyone.